Tonight, greetings, fellow travelers. As the week reaches its thrilling midpoint, we are broadcasting from the mountains of West Virginia. Embrace the spirit of adventure as you join us on this daring journey through the untamed wilderness of Let's Find Out with Diego. Bonus Overdrive Wednesday.
It's time to find out with Diego. Let's go. Ooh, yeah.
On this episode of Bonus Overdrive Wednesday, our guest is an award-winning author that brings you a gripping world of dark fantasy. With the captivating works of the Tenebris series, he skillfully weaves tales that enrapture the imagination and delve into the depths of the unknown. We will be guided through realms of intrigue and darkness, where every page holds a new revelation waiting to be explored. All this plus more. Please welcome back a very good friend to our show, author of the new book Tenebris the Unholy Quest, J.A. Barrios. Barrios, my friend, welcome to Bonus Overdrive Wednesday, brother. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
I'm doing great. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's been a few months now, since November or December, whenever. I guess December. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was. I think it was in December. We were both at Snarly's event over there it was in Charlestown for Krampus.
Charlestown.
Yes, that's the place to be in December with all that Krampus stuff going on.
Oh yeah, it's a good time.
It is, man. And at that time, you were still. I think I got a copy of the first book with Tenebris.
Oh yes.
And I have it right in my bookcase, right in front of my monitor. But now we're moving on to a new book. But we're gonna definitely get into that in a little bit. So let's talk about. You just got back from the States from a pretty awesome vacation. You sent me the pictures. So.
Oh yeah.
Some of the ruins there. Tell us about that.
Yes. I just got back from visiting Guatemala, country of my motherland. And we specifically, with my partner Jager, went to the northern part to Tikal, which is like one of the big Mayan ruins. It was awesome. Not my first time going there. It's been in quite a few years, and it was Jager's completely the first time ever seen something like that. And it's always just such an amazing experience getting to see like the kind of like awestruck by the overall structure of these temples and like how high up they go. There's a few you can go up. They have like wooden steps along them for you to go up, and that way you don't have to go up the original stone steps so they don't like weather down. But yeah, it's always really neat climbing up to them and seeing those views on top. Like one of the things I really love about it is, it's in the middle of the jungle, and just being on foot, you wouldn't really realize that there's all these ruins there until you get on top of a ruin, and then from there you see like the huge landscape of the jungle canopy, and then these little points of the different ruins spread throughout.
You brought that up, and in a minute I started bringing up not a memory because I have never been, but I've seen. Talking about not seeing ruins unless you're high up or getting close to it. Same thing happened with an explorer. He didn't find it, but he refound it. It was Machu Picchu, right?
Oh,
where you couldn't really see them from ground level, or nobody really noticed it up until you were flying on a plane. It's like, oh my goodness, what is all that? So I guess kind of equivalent of what you just saw yourself.
Oh yeah. That is a really great comparison. Yeah, because you have to trek through the jungle to get to the the center plaza, and it's just kind of you're in the middle of the jungle. There's nothing but trees, and you're following a path, and then just suddenly it opens up to this like leveled out area with these really awesome temples. And there's always all kinds of really fun speculations of how the pyramids were built, and whatever way how they were built. It's still just amazing to see that and be there.
Yes, because depending on what history you read, or let me rephrase that because it's going to sound terrible, but it depends on what part of history you're interested in. That you start getting, depending on who's teaching you get your own version of how things went, but you really got to go yourself. So once you're there, you can see it, you can touch it. your perspective kind of changes.
Oh yeah. And you know, to the Star Wars fans out there or whatever, to you know, A New Hope, the final battle scene, at least part of it was like filmed in Tikal. There's the specific like shot on Yavin 4, I guess it is, where they have like the lookout guy as one of like the X-Wings, or maybe it's the Millennium Falcons, like flying in, and they show like the canopy of the jungles with the temples in the back, and you can like go to that specific viewpoint, which is really, really fun.
And so the trip there, because he said it took quite a while. Now, this brings me back to when my grandfather, we used to go to the mountains where I could live when I was in Puerto Rico, and we go exploring, right? But so he let me take lead with a machete and just go around with, get all the overgrowth. Was it kind of like that with you? Because I thought it was kind of cool.
It's because it's in like kind of like a national park or whatever. So there's like a well made path. I'm sure if, I've always liked the idea of like using a machete to cut through growth, because like here in the States, I go off trailing in the woods all the time. In the middle of the Guatemalan jungle, though, I'm definitely like very I understand, like I humble myself with the lack of knowledge I know of the jungles there, or maybe not even just the lack of knowledge, but the little knowledge that I do have of all the, poisonous insects and stuff. It's kind of like, maybe I'll stay on the path.
No, you're 100% right. Had I thought about it now as an adult, going back in time, talking to myself, like, this is really a real bad idea. But that's okay. I was with my grandfather. He knows everything there. So he was kind of like the Indiana Jones of his neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
He goes wherever he wanted to. But now we're going to get into something. I didn't tell you this because I don't want to ruin the surprise or nothing. So the reason I have a show on Wednesdays now called Bonus Overdrive Wednesday kind of came because of an interview I did with you a while back, which was a bonus episode, which I did release on a Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about La Llorona, and I made the artwork for it, all that jazz, right? I must have sat there and looked at this picture for 20, 30 minutes. And I'm like, I'm captivated by this picture, right? I don't know why. Then my brain cells the fireworks started going. It's like, why don't you just do a Wednesday show and call it this, and that? Bonus Overdrive Wednesday was born. So you had a little bit something to do with that. So I really thank you for that.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I'm happy to be a part of, an inaugural, like a monumental, or was it a milestone of your show? That's really awesome. And I've been enjoying seeing all the other Overdrive episodes you've been putting out since then. This has been like
thank you, man. It's been awesome. And I have you to thank for. So, maybe now don't influence me so much because I'm already busy.
All right. I'll try to tone it down. But yeah, I do always love try to spread inspiration where I can.
No, and that you do. And then, speaking of that, because we're gonna move it on to the Tenebris the Unholy quest. You send me all the artwork for it and things like that. I'm looking, I'm gonna pull it up for it. This is not gonna benefit anybody but me because nobody can see it. So I'm gonna pull up the picture of the cover without the writing on it.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at it. Yes. And I'm thinking about this and I'm like, this kind of took me back in time to, it's kind of like the artwork I grew up with growing up in the 70s and early 80s. And now I know that this was not done through any form of AI or any kind of help. This is like true blue hand drawn because it almost looks like a oil painting.
Yeah, it's I think it's specifically acrylic. My good friend Jamie Apgar, who like lives in New York now, first met him when I lived in Pittsburgh. He did the cover art for both Tenebris Unholy Darkness and the new one, the Unholy Quest. He's my official Tenebris cover artist, and he brings such a unique, and like striking imagery to the table. And when you're saying it brings you back to like the 70s, I what I especially love about the cover for Unholy Quest, it's like like primo, like Frank Frazetta, like kind of like heavy metal style. Definitely has that like Robert E. Howard, Conan, tones in there, and that's like 100% what I'm going for. So it's like, yeah, it's super dope to get to see that, just that imagery with my characters.
It translates very well. Also, you still have that mold?
Oh yeah. Yes, I do. I was about to show it to you, but it's packed away in the car because I had a show yesterday, and so I haven't unpacked the car. But
Oh no, that's okay. It's a great piece you have on the table, man. I think last time, did I take a picture with it? I believe I did.
oh yeah, yeah, and I should be hearing back soon from the from Edward Callow, who sculpted that, because just earlier I sent him a message asking him about trying to get another one, or also possibly working on a different character too. Be really, really neat.
And with new books can bring also new characters that you're talking about. But before we get to the new book, let's go back and talk about the first one.
Oh, yes.
Can you give us a little bit of what was going on at that time?
So the first one centers around the first beings of Earth, the Serpenoids, and they are led by their beastly leader, Lord Thandrua. And as they live in this world of darkness, pre-sun, they eventually are threatened by the existence of the first dawn, which forces them to hide into the shadows. And their Lord Thandrua, in a dream, a premonition, discovers another world that they can travel to, within a canyon in Earth, and it will be their paradise. And they go on their journey to this new world and establish a society there. But once they do, they realize that they aren't alone in existence and are forced to coexist. And so the unholy darkness, brings certain questions about, morality, and like societal values, or, just kind of like, what happens when a society believes that they are the only one, and they're, come face to face with other like denizens. And, unfortunately, in our history, at least, a lot of times those first societies kind of, take over and, show like their own dominance. And the whole story of the unholy darkness is the Serpenoids learning their hubris and, I guess the results, that have come in their wake. And that's kind of sets up the grounds for the unholy quest, where Sectorus, the lead Serpenoid, has been traveling their new world, discovering new places, while while in his homeland, his territory, the slaves, the people that they have enslaved, have now rebelled and taken over his territory. And so while he's been traveling around and then discovers this has happened, he proceeds to try to bring a campaign together, collect different new friends, new alliances, to try to take back his territory, and now realizing how terrible they were.
Right. So the question is then, where did the ideas of using serpents come from? Because I understand that, of course, we all know thousands of years ago, even hundreds of years ago, in South America, Central America, serpents were kind of very well regarded. They were kind of gods in some aspects.
Yeah, in many parts of the world, Central South America, it's a definitely big part of, my ancestry from Latin America, and then also on the other side of the globe, in Egypt, throughout Asia, throughout many different cultures, people have always worshipped snakes or serpents. They've always been revered. They usually are used as signs of fertility or balance. There's all different kind of meanings in there, and it's not really until the I guess the Abrahamic, influence, or even like more especially like maybe the Crusades or whatever, when starting to really crack down on the the pagans, so to speak, those who believed in, I guess, other things than what the Bible had taught. Then that's when snakes had been made to seem more malicious. They've been slandered, I guess, in a way, and then there's the whole thing with I guess, the whole thing with St. Patrick's Day of, St. Patrick, getting rid of all the snakes, all the serpents, which is supposed to mean the pagans who worship the serpents. But and so that's the original, that's like really ingrained in there, and that's kind of like a not 100% intentional where I was originally going with it. I just always thought snakes were cool. I've talked about, we talked about like G.I. Joe, a lot, and definitely like G.I. Joe, Cobra Commander, and Serpentor were, both just like neat images of kind of what like a snake person might look like. And, just kind of going from there, always thinking about these like snake people fighting demons. And it's kind of like where I developed that story. And, over time, I've attached it more to like my own history and, give it more meaning than just like, something that's super cool.
No, it is super cool. And because I guess I remember you're kind of a sci-fi fan like I am, right?
Oh yeah.
And every once in a while you'll see a really cool movie that has great stuff with serpents. I don't know, this predates you, and I might have brought this up last time. This is back in 1983 or 84. There was a sci-fi show on NBC, which was pretty super huge at the time. Then a series came out of it, and then it kind of died down. It was called V, where these extraterrestrials came on Earth under false pretenses, and they had the exterior of humans because they had skin like humans, but once you peeled off the skin, they were actually serpents. Well, not serpents, but more like reptilians.
Nice.
And their purpose was to conquer the Earth, take the resources, and use people as food. So I'm always a big fan of anything that's got serpents or some sort of alien gimmick to it. What do you fall into that?
Well, yeah. So yeah, the I have like the serpenoids as being like the first beings of Earth, and like kind of like cosmically designed by my God character, the creator. I guess taking what primordial Earth was, where deserty, like covered in mostly like magma, and it's kind of like with these conditions, this is the type of creature or being that can especially live in these climates, and that's how the serpenoids were created. But it's been really interesting just learning more about like the idea of reptilians and all these like possible origins of humanity or Earth, and just seeing like these little kind of like parallel things with like reptilians in there. And I know like a big thing that or big, but something that I thought was super cool, I learned not too long ago, was the theory on how water came to Earth's atmosphere. And I guess before there was water, there was, I guess, just like a meteor or an asteroid that was either all ice or heavily like encrusted in ice, because like frozen in space. And then as it hit Earth, that it introduced water to our atmosphere. And I thought that was super cool because in the Unholy Darkness, the origin of Thandrua arriving to Earth, or like his creation, the creator creates a leader to lead the serpenoids, and kind of like classic Genesis style with the usage of mud, puts this being into like a ball of mud and throws it through the heavens to Earth. And as it's traveling through the cosmos, it hardens and kind of becomes like a comet, or I like specifically described it as like a cosmic egg, and then it crashes on Earth right after the first rains come to help give life to the serpenoids. And so when the serpenoids see the rain for the first time and this thing crashing from the sky, they look at Thandrua and believe that he is their life giver. But it was just really cool of like, oh, I guess the way how rain came to Earth was like from a comet. So it's just kind of neat, the it's like something unintentional, or maybe just something that I picked from the collective unconscious, something given to me through the collective unconscious.
No, and yeah, I understand what you're saying, because sometimes you get that download and you got to do something with that information. Why not translate it into a great story?
Oh yeah.
But before you started writing sci-fi, because I remember you started writing as a young person, right?
Oh yeah. Started writing as basically as soon as I can write, I started, making stories.
Yeah, what were you
And
writing about at that time?
yeah, well, I know like the very first thing that I can remember writing was, like a kind of classic children's story type thing. And it was just of like, I think it was called like the green ostrich or something. And so something about like this green egg that an ostrich like hatched from, and it was just kind of different from the other ostriches, the ones that aren't green, I guess like a classic Rudolph type story of like, oh, here's someone that's like different. And so, wasn't really cared for. And I don't remember like what happens in the story, but of course, by the end of it, the ostrich realizes, its own worth or something. And, it was definitely like the first story I wrote. And I know like after that, complete other direction of just like, oh, I would specifically want to write horror stories. So I just try to write different like scary stories, and some like smaller things I can't really remember like much of. But like I know my first attempt at writing a book in like 5th grade was like I had just watched Night of the Creeps, and I thought it was super cool, and then basically wrote a different version of that of some kind of comet. No, I guess there's a theme there. A comet, hitting Earth, and then like these little slug, or I guess they weren't even slug. They were just like these little round creatures, little small creatures that came from the comet and start to infect people and turn them into kind of like zombies. It was actually really cool. Last year I went to the Living Dead convention, or Living Dead weekend, in the Monroeville Mall, and got to meet was it Fred Decker, I believe is the director who made Night of the Creeps, and I got to tell him that little anecdote, which was really fun. And like kind of where my my desire to become an author like stems from, was like, I guess like seeing Stephen King in movies that were movies based on his work, and then like being inspired to write this story based on Night of the Creeps. It's kind of like where I can like trace it down to.
I think everybody has that one certain movie, certain song, certain bands that kind of help you along the way for inspiration.
Yeah.
And so, talking about the horror movies and sci-fi. So, which ones are the ones you watch the most? Which ones? Because everybody has a different flavor of horror or sci-fi. Which one do you tend to watch the most?
I want to say I watch horror the most. It's definitely what I read the most. And I don't know. I feel like it really depends on my mood. I know. I can go, like weeks at a time where I'm only watching horror, and then I completely switch over to like, oh, now I just want to watch comedies. But I especially love sci-fi, but I think I don't usually like binge those as much. That's more of like, I want to watch this one in particular one and just kind of like meditate on that. So I don't know, I mean, maybe in a way sci-fi is like more of my favorite, but then horror is like my go-to kind of like, oh, this is my popcorn, you can just have a good amount of it.
Is there one of your favorite series that you have that you'll watch over and over, or anything like that?
Let's see. Well, like, my most favorite just standalone horror movie is John Carpenter's The Thing, and I guess like when it comes to series, it's like maybe like Nightmare on Elm Street. I was about to say Nightmare Before Christmas. Nightmare on Elm Street is always probably one of the best. I always want to say Hellraiser. Like Hellraiser is my favorite of those. Like what are I guess on the surface are like these slasher horror flicks, but Hellraiser is, and like same with Candyman, I guess, are like not actually slashers. They're a little different. But when it comes to Hellraiser, it's really like the first one is the one I especially like, and then the other ones are like okay. Whereas like some of the other slasher movies, like the sequels, are like almost just as fun to watch as the first. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to really stick my like my feet down on a overall favorite. But yeah, definitely when it comes to sci-fi though, I don't know. I really love just like the whole like Conan series and I don't know, anything that has like interesting creatures, any kind of like concepts of big journeys. That's always a good time.
Yeah, sword and fantasy. You mix a little sci-fi, a little horror. You got the perfect movie.
Yeah.
And I used to rent a lot of those back when there were video stores. Spent my whole weekend watching that, eating pizza, and even up to the next morning, pizza's cold. I'm still watching. I'm still eating pizza. So that's the best part about being young, I reckon. So now that Tenebris the Unholy Quest will be coming out, it'll be coming out later this year, right?
Oh yes, the Unholy Quest should be coming out, or not should, but will be coming out in September. I don't have the official date set yet, but should be like early September. And I'm already looking at starting up book tour signings, which I already had confirmed. September 20th in the Barnes & Noble in Frederick, Maryland, and then like waiting on the day after, the 21st, for Hagerstown, Maryland. Unholy Quest will be available by September, and then I'll be going on little book tour to promote it. And then like I've basically like on the final ends of wrapping up the production of it. That's kind of like one of the things definitely like wanted to talk about, and it's been really great to work on this book and see it come to completion, especially in a fraction of the amount of time that it took me to write the first one. And just like overall, I really love the quality of the story. I think this is a really good one.
And have you found it that I guess just the word easy is the only word I can use, but do you find yourself getting a little more easier as the time goes by to put out another book?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I definitely have more more confidence in my writing, and I know like one of the things early on that used to slow down my writing process was self-editing as I'm writing, and it's kind of nice to do that, I guess, but it really is just kind of slow you down. And so I've gotten to like a really good point where it's like, no, I'm just gonna put words to paper and worry about editing later. That's literally what the editor's for. And so and that's helped me a lot, because then I can just do like stream of consciousness of just like, all right, I'm just writing, and the next thing I know, it's been like, oh, I've been sitting here for like 4 hours straight. I didn't realize. And then like what's great about writing a book, I guess that's part of a series. I've already spent so many years world building and setting up that first book that now it's just kind of like, all right, I can just drop right into this world with my characters and start doing stuff.
And because you're already kind of very invested in these characters, so in a way you live through them, they live through you, so you'll know what they'll be doing next.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it's been it's been really, really great. And yeah, as I finish this book, it's also like you said, like I know what they'll be doing next. So just being really excited of what some of these characters will do in the next book, in the third one. So they just it's I always like the concept of the characters take a life of their own, and it's definitely really fun to experience that, I guess, like almost like a game of Sims.
Right. And so how's the feedback been so far with the first book, with the first Tenebris? Because every once in a while I run into you as some of these shows or conventions, and I see you're always talking to everybody, or they're coming up to your table. Things seem to be going pretty well.
Oh yeah, no, it's going really good. Going very well. like I was super stoked, just like after the first year of its publication. The Unholy Darkness won third place at the Book Fest Awards for Best Fantasy Epic. So that was like super exciting. The readers who I connect with, like all like, always have such great things to say, and I know it always makes me feel really, really nice to hear just the different compliments, and especially like the folks who like truly get it, and they're like, oh, I loved like this or that about it, or I think there was like there was one person, I'm blanking on their name right now, but they had reached out to me a few months ago, and I had met them like over a year before that when I was at Denver Fan Expo. This is someone like, reaching out to me from Colorado, about a year later, just saying how they like just recently finished the reading Unholy Darkness. And one thing that they especially appreciated was like, taking kind of like the concept or some themes, some ideas from like the Bible and turning it into like a fantasy narrative, as opposed to more of like, like a book of morals or whatever. And so like I thought that was really cool. It's like, oh yeah, it's kind of it is, just like taking like some of those elements and turning it into this adventure story. And then like towards the end of last year, basically from the last time I saw you up to like through January, I was super busy working with AB Book Services on the audiobook adaptation for The Unholy Darkness. And that was really great. I've been getting also a lot of great feedback on that. People seem to really love it. It was really awesome production. Antoine Bendelay was the producer, runs AB Book Services. I had chosen 3 different narrators to work with, and they split apart the like 4 different perspectives that are in the book between them. So shout out to Tiana Honey, Andrew Dos Santos, and Daryl Mayfield. They're really great to work with. Each of them brought their own like special skill to each of their parts, and it overall is really great production. And I had even gotten the chance to include an original song by Cigar Etiquette, my band, and the song's called Thandrua's Descent, which is a song that we made based on the book, and we just kind of did an instrumental version, Howard on guitar, me on the bass, and sent that to Antoine. He split that up to be like the opening and closing credits, and just in between the chapters. And it's super cool to listen to my own music starting up my own story, and getting to hear these like super talented people deliver my words. And it's almost cinematic. And I guess that's the next step.
Oh, it has to be. And awesome is underselling what's going on here. Now, I remember, I think might have been early last year, because I had you on Let's Find Out, and we talked about the first book, and then we included a song after the interview. Was that one of the songs? Yes.
Yeah, that's the song. That's right. Yes. Yeah. So your listeners, I guess, this is not a TV show. Your listeners, have heard the song, the full song with the lyrics. So that song we had, we re-recorded instrumentally, which was actually a lot of fun to do. I did, my buddy Billy Taylor has some really nice equipment at his place, and we went over there to record the tunes. And then at the time, another good friend of ours, John Sennett, had just like came into town from New York, and he's really great just audio and just engineering guy. And so he just kind of like stepped in and took control of the recording part of it, and helped our sound tremendously. And it was just a lot of fun to do that together.
Man, that's pretty damn awesome. Because now, which begs the question now, as you're telling me this, because writing's never really easy. Even though some people can do it pretty quickly, it's still never easy, because that's just the beginning. Once it gets published, you got to get out there and get the word out about the book. How are you handling booking all these other locations because you're doing book signings, you're doing conventions, you're also doing other podcasts. So some people, I know a few, they have literally call them, and I'm gonna flub this word because it's like a one of those. I'm gonna say it, literary agents. Did I say it? Literary agents?
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you, thank you. And not everybody gets those because only some of the bigger publishing houses will have that for you there. And for those who are more on the independent side, they have to put all the work themselves. How are you handling all that?
Oh yeah, it's a lot. So yeah, definitely as an independent creator, I end up having to wear the multiple hats, and so I am my own literary agent, which is it's a lot, because I'm a very introverted person, and it's hard to like talk about myself. I've definitely have over these last few years a lot of practice now.
Mhm.
But it's always, I always feel like it's almost the first time again. Like every time I reach out to another store and and just like to reach out or to introduce myself and then talk about my works and get in there. But overall, it's the hardest part is mostly just my own mind and just kind of getting through that. But I always go in person to bookstores to try to meet the owners or talk with the people there. And I think in this day and age, that's maybe like more than what they need, because like 98% of the time where I show up in person, they then give me an email and like, here, just contact this email instead. But I still like to go and get a feel anyway, and then in the email I can talk about what I thought of their store. And I think those like personal connections matter to me, even if it doesn't to them or something. Yeah, and it's been nice. So yeah, like my first confirmed signing in Frederick, Maryland, which is a bit of a ways for me in Arlington, Virginia. And the way how I came across that store was when I was driving up towards Ithaca to pick up the cover art for Unholy Quest. That's where Jamie lives. And on the route there, I stopped by several different Barnes and Nobles on my way up to kind of touch base, tell them that I'm on my way to pick up the the cover art for my next book, and make these little connections. So hopefully that's that little extra friendliness helps out as we fill out the rest of September and October.
Before you know it, it'll be that time because I know now we're only in March, going quickly into April, and you and I we're going to be seeing each other next month at one of the Snarly events in Hagerstown. But I know you got a lot more plans. So A to Z, where are you going to be so far that you have booked?
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, already quite a few. So first weekend of April doing AwesomeCon, which I'm sure this might be released after that, or but yeah, I'm doing AwesomeCon, beginning of April. Yeah, then the Saturday after that is the Snarly event that we'll both be at Thick and Thin Brewery. Then the weekend after that, I have Artists and Author Expo at the Paris Study in that's in Chester, Pennsylvania, Chester Heights, Pennsylvania. Then I have not the Snarly Halfway to Halloween, but Fright Reads presents Halfway to Halloween, April 26th. So that entire month is already booked up, which I'm just now realizing as I'm saying all this. May's a little bit more open. I don't have really anything going on there, and it's not until June where I start to get into some of the more like other kind of conventions. I'm doing like Sci-Fi Valley Con weekend of June 13th, which is a fun event that I always enjoy out in Altoona, Pennsylvania. So it's a good like small, big convention, if that makes sense. It's like a bigger, but it's still very communal. And like I did my second show with them this past November, and it was really cool to see all these attendees come up to me that remembered me from the previous summer, or I guess 2 summers before that, and like specifically seeking me out. So I'm definitely looking forward to going back there. And I think as far as my planned events go, the last 2 that I have on the books is Fairfax Comic-Con in August, the weekend of the 22nd. That's at the Dulles Expo Center in Virginia. It's also a really good local event, and then one of the ones that I always look forward to each year is like Fright Reads, the flagship event on the 13th and 14th of September, which is a little earlier than it is most years. It's usually at the end of September, but now it's at a new, bigger location at the Howard County Fairgrounds, and so I'm really excited to see what this next step for that event might be. And then of course the signing on the 20th in Frederick.
And would there be a great reveal for the first book? Where is it going to land the first time? The real will it be there?
Like the official, the first release. So yeah, I'm still working on that, but yeah, I think the official launch release I'm looking at doing with Curmudgeon Books in Glen Burnie, Maryland. Yeah, Curmudgeon Books is a really fun event, really fun store at Morley Station Mall, which is actually where the Halfway to Halloween event's going to be in April. It's really cool to see. It's like some of these some of these more vacant hallways get completely filled out with with like a fun Halloween event. But the Curmudgeon bookstore is really great. Has all kinds of both new and used books, as well as like a nice music and DVD selection, nice record selection. They have all kinds of stuff there, and so far they've been my go-to launch signing. So I've done my first Unholy Darkness signing with them. I've done the release for Ravings with them, which just so you know, Ravings just a couple months ago won or became a finalist at the Feather Quill Book Awards for best short stories. So that was really cool. So I'm definitely looking forward to bringing the Unholy Quest. Definitely looking forward to the journey of the Unholy Quest. Finishing at the Curmudgeon Books. That was about to come out real nice and smooth, but
No, that's okay, man. Not more than every once in a while. A lot of the times, I tend to do that myself. And you know what? One of the cool things is when you go out to these conventions and stuff, you actually help other people, because you actually helped me when the show first started, and I was looking for guests. You told a few people about me. They contacted me, so I had John Darr came on, one of the very first interviews I had. Same thing with Mike Haynes Pitts. I really appreciate you sending some of them my way. And like I said, Bonus Overdrive Wednesday, you're a big part of it, so I really appreciate it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, I'm glad to help. I love helping my peers. Any step up I can take, I'm definitely trying to lift the next person up with me, because it's all about the community, and I enjoy and I especially just enjoy you as a person and what you do, and I want to help you succeed also, and bring in other authors. And I'm glad both Mike and John have gone on. There's been a lot of people I've been trying to send your info to, so it's waiting to see when more people will actually step up to that and get to see them on the Bonus Overdrive too.
I really appreciate that, and they will. And sometimes it's once they're so busy, but once they get to it, I've been seeing some of the emails, so really appreciate that. And now for the magic question for the listeners of Bonus Overdrive Wednesday, they will be seeing you at these events. They got the dates and the towns and the cities. Where can they find out more about you? Your socials and your website.
Yeah, so definitely on my Linktree has all my socials linked up, which my Linktree is linktr.ee/JA Barrios, and that's spelled Barrios. I'm currently in the works, have a official website being developed, and so soon I'll consolidate my Linktree to have a link directly to the website, and I'll have all the other stuff more more aesthetically pleasing, kind of site profile. And yeah, so that's still to come. I don't have a launch date for the website yet, but last I saw looked like it's coming along pretty well. It's definitely the easiest place to get to me. You can follow me on Facebook or Instagram. I do like Threads and Blue Sky and just about everything. I'm in there either as Barrios Books or Barrios.books. There's a few different ones that are a little different, and I apologize about that inconsistency. But I think like Facebook or Instagram and Threads are what I haunt some of the most. But yeah, I'm always like eager to connect with more people, and so just whichever any outlet works for you guys, follow me up and send a message, and we can chat.
Awesome. And I'll be seeing you here in a few weeks, and I'm looking forward to having my very own autographed copy of Tenebris the Unholy Quest available later this year. My friend, thank you so much for being on the show, and like I said, I'll see you here in a few weeks.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's been great, and yeah, look forward to seeing you. And yeah, so we'll be here before we know it.
Yes, sir. I'll be seeing you in April, my friend. Thank you very much.
All content on this broadcast is a property of Diego the Podcaster and is served directly from our servers with no modification, redirects, or rehosting. All celebrity impersonators are paid performers. The impersonated celebrities do not endorse or promote any views or opinions expressed by our guests, Diego the Podcaster, or Bonus Overdrive Wednesday. The information shared on Bonus Overdrive Wednesday is provided on an as-is basis, with no guarantees of completeness, accuracy, usefulness, or timeliness.